WCNC Charlotte.
Austin, thank you. By the way, you can follow our interactive timeline from when the coaster was first shut down to today right now on the WCNC Charlotte mobile app.
Thank you, Ben Thompson. It is 5:15. It's a Friday morning, and our preview of the day, not too bad at all. We were talking about the big storms yesterday. None of that today. Maybe an isolated storm in the afternoon. 10 a.m. we're in the upper 70s, right around 81 degrees right before lunchtime in the middle of the afternoon. Mid to upper 80s. There you go. Storm chance at about 20% coverage for the afternoon. So there may be a few isolated storms out there. Take a look at our view from a tower cam. Looking off the distance, it is just a clear sky morning and not a bad start to your Friday morning. If you're heading out the door, no issues. A lot of sunshine out there today. Abundant sun. Our UV forecast for today and tomorrow. We'll preview tomorrow. 10 extra protection. Burn time at about 15 to 25 minutes today, tomorrow, even on Sunday. Speaking of Sunday, check it out. 95 degrees, so we're in the upper 80s today. It's really Sunday. We're going to see feels like temperature maybe up to about 105 degrees. We level things off to the low 90s Monday and Tuesday of next week, previewing the next several days. As far as any severe weather threat, it's all in the Midwest, upper Midwest today, from St. Louis to Chicago across the southeast. We're going to put ourselves in about a low-end category of maybe an isolated thunderstorm as we head towards the afternoon. That includes Charlotte over to Shelby, down to Rock Hill, Monroe, all the way out to Wadesboro and Rockingham. Current temperature readings, we're right at 68 at the Speedway at Concord. Rock Hill checks in, 67 degrees there. A cooler 62 at Jefferson up in the North Carolina mountains, and 71 right here in the Queen City under fair skies. Football action tomorrow, Bank America Stadium. It's going to be a great game. By the way, game time, 4 p.m. We'll be in the low 90s as we start the game by about 8 o'clock into the mid-80s. So it'll be pretty warm out there at the stadium. Futurecast radar this afternoon. As we get towards late afternoon, we see the potential for a couple of pop-up thunderstorms around 5 o'clock. Everything's going to be south here down towards Columbia, South Carolina. Notice around 6 p.m. over to Shelby, down to Spartanburg in that area along the I-85 corridor. Then we get to around 8 p.m. this evening. Watch out, there could be a couple of pop-up thunderstorms, even a couple of heavy thunderstorms out there between, say, 8 and 10 o'clock, but things do level off. Right now, nothing going on. Pretty much a fair sky morning and no storms in the forecast this morning. Here we go. High temperatures today, about 76 at Jefferson. I would say upper 80s near 90 at Cheraw in South Carolina, upper 80s right here in the Queen City. Then overnight tonight, temperatures dropping upper 60s and low 70s. Check out that Guy Roofing 7-day forecast through the weekend and beyond. Heat's on for the weekend. 92 tomorrow. Feels like about 100. 95 with the heat index 105 or so on Sunday, and then next chance of rain, a better chance of rain. A couple storms on Tuesday. We stay in the upper 80s and the low 90s Wednesday and Thursday of next week.
At WCNC Charlotte, we really want to make a difference. We have tools like Verify and Where's the Money to really listen to viewers and see what they're struggling with, whether that's trying to get money that you deserve or answering a question that's confusing you. We're not the experts, we're interviewing the experts. And that's why we want to bring it to you so you can see the facts, how we check them, and how we get the answer.
There you go. There you go. Happy Friday, folks. TGIF. Nothing like a summer Friday, you know, and considering Larry says that we're going to have one of the hottest weekends coming up here.
Lot to look forward to.
Really, I guess that includes pumpkin spice, because nothing says hot weather like pumpkin spice.
Are we setting a record by talking about it this early?
We might
Probably.
be.
Yeah.
We might be. So the question is, we want to know this morning is how soon is too soon for pumpkin spice?
Because talk about it.
Because it's August 11th. 7-Eleven kicked off their pumpkin spice offerings August 1st. Oh. This past week, North Carolina's own Krispy Kreme kicked off their pumpkin spice drinks, donuts, all of it. Dunkin' is coming the 16th, and Starbucks is reportedly happening on the 24th. So we want to know how soon is too soon.
Who has the best pumpkin spice out of all those mentions right there?
Oh. I remain objective.
It sounds like it's time for a
will
taste
not take
test.
it. I will say the only difference I've ever noticed is that Starbucks tends to be spicier. Does that make sense? Like it actually has like a peppery, spicy.
Yes.
Where a lot of the other ones
spice,
are more
so?
totally.
Yeah.
Where the other ones I feel like
really
are
sweet.
sweeter.
Like sugary and
So weigh in, let us know when you think it's the right time for pumpkin spice. In the meantime, the creator of the famous one, the original pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks,
Good afternoon.
Which is not yet available.
I'm here today to
just
announce
weighing
the
in on what
appointment of
he
David
thinks
Weiss as a
is
special
the right
counsel,
time.
consistent with the
Well,
Department
I mean,
of
it is
Justice
August, so
regulations
fall is right
governing
around the
such
corner.
matters.
And each
In
year we've
keeping
been
with
pretty
those
consistent
regulations, I have today
in terms of
notified
our timing on when
designated members
we
of
bring
each
back
House
the
of
pumpkin
Congress
spice latte.
of the
So
appointment.
it might
In
be a little
February
bit in our head, and maybe some
after
people
being
want to
nominated
hold
by
on to
former
summer a
president
little bit
and
longer.
confirmed by the
They're
Senate,
not quite ready
Mr.
for
Weiss was
fall,
sworn
but
in as
fall's
the United
coming.
States Attorney for the District
I'm in
of
that
Delaware.
last group. Let's hang on
Mr.
to
Weiss
summer
had
as
been
long
a
as we
career
can.
prosecutor,
And then we
having
can say hi to
served
Pumpkin Spice
previously
when
in
they
the
have their
office
time.
for more than a decade.
You don't need to convince me.
Beginning in
Choir here,
2019,
like,
Mr.
please,
Weiss
no
and his
There are
convince
people
me.
who work on this show sometimes.
with federal law
Occasionally.
enforcement
Right there.
That's it
began
here.
investigating
I think she is
allegations
That love it all
of
year
sexual
round.
For
conduct
pumpkin
by,
spice.
I hate to talk
among
about
others,
somebody when they're not here, but
Robert
Sarah French
Hunter
says
Biden.
that
That
it's never too early. No, the
investigation
funny
has
thing
been
is, so
recently
Sarah's a big
referenced in
proponent
federal
of
criminal
PSLs
proceedings
and like
Yes.
loves them.
She has stock in it.
I think so, and starts
as
talking
noted
about
in
them
those
in like
proceedings
in like
and other
June or
public
July.
statements by Mr.
But the funny thing is,
Weiss's
I talked to her about
that
it last week before she
investigation
left on vacation,
remains
and she's like,
ongoing.
"It's not time yet. It's not." I'm like,
In February
"What?" I was
2021,
like, "You talk about it in
U.S.
June."
Attorney
and
Weiss
She's never said that
I was like,
before.
"You never say that. Like you're ready to go like pumpkin spice in June."
that capacity to continue to lead the investigation. As I said before, Mr. Weiss would be permitted to continue his investigation, take any investigative steps he wanted, and make the decision whether to prosecute in any district. Mr. Weiss has told Congress that he has been granted ultimate authority over this matter, including the responsibility for deciding where, when, and whether to file charges, and for making decisions necessary to preserve the integrity of any prosecution consistent with federal law, the principles of federal prosecution, and departmental policies. In a July 2023 letter to Congress, Mr. Weiss said that he had not to that point requested special counsel designation. On Tuesday of this week, Mr. Weiss advised me that in his judgment, his investigation had reached a stage at which he should continue his work as a special counsel, and he asked to be so appointed. Upon considering his request, as well as the extraordinary circumstances relating to this matter, I have concluded that it is in the public interest to appoint him as special counsel. This appointment confirms my commitment to provide Mr. Weiss all the resources he requests. It also reaffirms that Mr. Weiss has the authority he needs to conduct a thorough investigation and to continue to take the steps he deems appropriate independently, based only on the facts and the law. Mr. Weiss will also continue to serve as U.S. Attorney for the District of Delaware. As special counsel, he will continue to have the authority and responsibility that he has previously exercised to oversee the investigation and decide where, when, and whether to file charges. The special counsel will not be subject to the day-to-day supervision of any official of the department, but he must comply with the regulations, procedures, and policies of the department. Consistent with the special counsel regulations, at the conclusion of Mr. Weiss's work, he will provide me with a report explaining the prosecution or declination decisions reached by him. As with each special counsel who has served since I have taken office, I am committed to making as much of his report public as possible, consistent with legal requirements and department policy. Today's announcement affords the prosecutors, agents, and analysts working on this matter the ability to proceed with their work expeditiously and to make decisions indisputably guided only by the facts and the law. The men and women undertaking this investigation are public servants who have dedicated their careers to protecting the citizens of this country. The appointment of Mr. Weiss reinforces for the American people the department's commitment to both independence and accountability in particularly sensitive matters. I am confident that Mr. Weiss will carry out his responsibility in an even-handed and urgent manner and in accordance with the highest traditions of this department. Thank you.
If U.S. Attorney Weiss had the authorities he needed, why does he need to be a special counsel? Do you still have faith in U.S. Attorney Weiss after the deal fell apart?
U.S. Attorney Weiss from Delaware is going to be heading up the special counsel meeting. It's basically ensuring a more independent way to investigate that doesn't have the day-to-day oversight from the DOJ, which is important when you have a public figure like the president's son. This means that the Attorney General is still asking for a public report to be made at the end of this whole thing, and this special counsel will still report to Merrick Garland in the end, but it gives the appearance and the reality of being a more independent investigation rather than something handled specifically by the DOJ. We'll have a lot more of that coming up later on this afternoon here on WCNC Charlotte. Speaking of, coming up starting at 4 o'clock, we're working to learn more about the reported sex. Well, a lot of families getting ready for the start of school. And according to Deloitte, back-to-school shopping is the second most expensive time of the year for families, trailing just behind the winter holidays.
And that's on top of the National Retail Federation predicting this year's back-to-school shopping season will be the most expensive ever. Wake Up Charlotte's Sarah French breaks down some apps and some websites to help you save, so you're not left asking, where's the money?
Here are some of the top websites and apps that will help you save money on back-to-school shopping. We spoke with Andrea Warrock, a money-saving expert, to get her top tips. Tip number 1. If you want to compare prices, use websites like Flip or Price Blink, as well as apps like Shop Savvy.
This way you can see who has what for the cheapest price on your list, and then you can plan your shopping trip accordingly. I also love Sidekick from couponcabin.com, and this tool will alert you if there's a coupon available for a site you're shopping at.
Tip number 2. If you have an athlete in your house, go for gently used sporting goods with sites and apps like Swap Me Sports or Sideline Swap. And tip number 3, shop for gently used clothing items as well. Andrea recommends sites like Swoondle Society.
This is a site where you could trade in kids' clothing. You get credit to get like new clothing. You do pay a small trade fee or join a membership, but great outlet for saving a lot on clothing.
Poshmark is another website or app where you can find brand names for your kids at a discount. For WCNC Charlotte, I'm Sarah French.
Hey gamers, you've now got a new type of subscription service to take your play to a whole new level. I'm Carolyn Bruck, and this is your Where's the Money Minute. Meta, the company known for Facebook, has launched a virtual reality subscription service. It's called